I were to get this correct, we are on the Total Potential podcast. Once again, post fight with Sunwoo took us a couple weeks, but as Joe Rogan says, it's always good to give the fighters some time to collect their thoughts. And you also have a new release that released today as well of Lucid Pool. So definitely talk, first let's promo the music, talk a little bit about that you were killing time today,
Yeah.
didn't really get a lot of sleep, getting ready for the release of this project, so talk about it a little bit.
So let me start at the beginning. We had went ahead. We've been sitting on a couple of songs for about like since we announced everything. Since the beginning of this year, and a little bit behind from last year. So the anticipation of putting out the single today was just like overwhelming, as Anthony put it, because we had talked a little bit earlier. Um, I got it this morning, and that was the only thing that I could think about is just having the single get out, just out of the way. And then now that we have the single out, it gives people a little bit more view of the definition of what we're trying to come out with. And this single will be the introduction to our EP. So it's finally out. I'm glad, like, it's off my shoulders just to wait. Like, when it comes to this music thing, you want to push everything out and have everything just sitting on the table so you guys could, like, turn around, go into either crafting new material, handling more things on the marketing business side. If you got merch, you want to start looking at that. So the more you get most of your big stuff off the list, the more you can start focusing on the little things that's going to keep you guys running. So that's where we're at.
No, and that's what I tell a lot of artists, and I think you're picking up a lot of, my message where you're only going to be as big as your business. That if
Right.
you don't have your business in line and you're not making business level decisions, how long are you really going to be able to do it for? And let's say you are successful, if you don't have that structure in place, then you're not really going to be able to, because often, a lot of times, you only have 15 minutes of fame, so you want to be able to take advantage of it while you have it, right? And I
Right.
see that's what you've done with Street Beefs as well, to promote your music. And obviously, the last time we talked, you were a little bit looking at the exit of fighting and
Yeah.
to focus more on music. But since the second fight, Sunwoo's just getting more and more confident, and he wants to get his head knocked in a little bit more. And
Oh man.
I can't condone it because I want his brain to stay together. But
Yeah.
he is a savage. He is a monster. And the same question that continues to get asked each time, but which is different with this fight because this fighter that you went against is someone with a record, so you
Right.
did prove something, but it almost seems like everyone you fight, you make it look, I don't want to say so easy, but when you have the defense that you do, it's a
Yeah.
different dynamic to street beefs that I haven't seen before. I've never seen an artist or a fighter, at least from my experience. Not I'm a very novice watcher. I don't watch street beefs religiously. I probably
Right.
watch once every other year, for a couple weeks, right? So I may not know what I'm talking about. It's very likely I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm very impressed by your blocking skills. Like, would I be wrong to say you're one of the only people with that sort of technique?
um Yes and no, because I've seen people roll into the defensive, but I say with me, like, in a way, my defensive is more of my aggressive take. Because I like to come off the counters. I feel like the impact of a punch or of a kick, it just works better off the counter. And uh I'm patient, I'm patient in a sense to where when it comes to me facing off my opponent and he has a different speed than I do, um, I don't try to go my opponent's speed. I use my defense to either,
So then the fight
fight
is
my
at your
fight.
own pace.
Exactly.
So you
So
control the pace of the fight.
Exactly. So now, like with my defense, you're fighting at my pace now. Like I'm making you fight my fight. So you're not gonna just just rush me, and you're not gonna just get these critical blows on me because I'm gonna protect myself, first and foremost. And if you've got to see my video, you'll see that the thing that saved me in that fight was my defense. A lot of people they don't know how to manage themselves in like a flurry, like they like to ball up, and when you ball up, you block your vision, you can't see where the next punch is coming from, things like that. So it's super important that um more or less the nerve of handling your defense and managing the other fighter
Well,
on
and
the other
it's
side.
an analytical approach. I mean, look at Floyd Mayweather. The only reason why he's probably not arguably is indeed the greatest fighter is
Right.
directly associated with his defense and to nothing else.
And when it comes to fighters like Floyd, you have to consider that these guys are
Yeah,
so
like
let me
UFC
digress.
blocking
Yeah.
is significantly harder than boxing blocking. So yeah, you're
Yeah,
in a totally different world.
because those kicks and punches are coming through. Like they're
Yeah.
not like at least like with what I was going to get into with Mayweather is that he played the game. He didn't, like, whether you consider him a warrior, a fighter, or whatever it is. He was a boxer and he played that game and he won his fights. He did what he was supposed to have done. If you're gonna play, in the realm of combat sports on a competitive level, you have to consider like some maybe like for you to uplift yourself with your records and stuff. You don't necessarily need to have the highlight knockout. You just got to win the fight. But if you're looking for a brute, somebody, there's just different fighters that are knockout artists and are good at that. But like Anthony was just mentioning earlier just now with the blocking game and the UFC or just MMA in general or kickboxing, it's almost better to move away than actually sit there and try to take the hit and block, because like I was saying before, like the guys I train with and the guys I look up to with my martial arts, those guys are throwing their kicks through everything.
Yeah, so I mean
Even
that's another perspective too that yeah, you're boxing but you're still getting peppered with force.
right, and then you I think the most important thing is not just the blocking itself, but the angles. If you go back and watch my fight, when after I had knocked down Wade, he got back up and he had went. I think it was standing left to right, so he threw a right kick and I blocked it with my left arm. And if you notice, I had put my torso at an angle to where the impact of the kick would not only be blocked, but I wouldn't hurt my arm trying to block it. Almost like I'm taking the
Yeah, and
the
guys, what
energy
I'll
projected.
also do in the future, and we haven't had the opportunity to do this yet, but we'll have a separate video, is I'll have the video prepared and then we'll just sit here and just react to it because I could bring it up right here.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you had to like we need a
We have
side
to
by
see it.
side
Yeah.
to like break it down, because a lot had happened. Like it was a 3 minute round, 3 minute one round bout.
Well, I mean, technically, I can pause using Ecamm, and then I could go download it. But like I said, I think it would be better if it was its own individual video because then people could come specifically for it
Yeah,
versus coming to the podcast and then having to go to a specific time. And obviously more videos, more content.
almost
So
definitely.
definitely stay tuned for that. I will be listing that down in the description. Whether or not we have the energy to record it tonight, possibly not. But we have the studios, so that's the greatest part about the studio is it can be turned on at any time.
Whenever, and then if the time is available, it could
Yeah.
happen. Most definitely.
Yeah, and I'm excited about you guys coming out too, now for more than one reason. And sooner the better because I'm out. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys.
Oh, most definitely.
But we'll digress. We'll digress from
Yeah.
that. But so last podcast We heard a lot about your inspiration, the people around you, as well as some of your short and long term goals. How would you say that those goals have changed? That, like I said, one of your major reasons for fighting originally was to promote your music. And so now that you have gotten to that point, what is your future in fighting? What is your future in music?
So before I go on this whole thing, let me just say like it's just it's a little undetermined because um I think Wade fighting Wade, it kind of like showed me that not only can I like do this, but I could survive and do this.
Yeah,
Like I'll
against someone
like
with a record.
yeah, like, a title holder,
Yeah.
like title holder with a record that nobody wanted to fight but me. And if you go back and watch my last episode with Anthony, I put it out there. Like I told him like I was coming. Like
Oh wow! So did you do that call out, and then it ended up was an actual call out?
yeah.
That's how no, but that's I think how it works, right?
uh, uh, well, that's usually how it works if you call out a specific person. But when I was um reaching out to Wade, it was more or less like, oh, it was maybe we will get to fight. It was like one of those things. And when I went to the event, like I was on it, man. I wanted to fight Wade. Like that was the thing in front of my mind. And not to put down any other fighter, but I just felt like who else is gonna really test me in this weight class, amongst all these other guys, it's
Yeah.
gonna be Wade. Like nobody wants to fight this guy. He's folded up so many people. Um, he's left
I
this
should
mark
watch some
with
of
Street
his.
Beast.
We should when we do your event, we'll also watch Wade's previous fights. Could you get him on here?
I could try. I could reach out to him and see if he's willing to participate. But whether he does or not, it's totally up to him.
Because then he
No
could
sourness.
also talk about your previous fight too. That it
Yeah,
would be more or less like, we'd watch his 4 fights. Because obviously I'd be interested in featuring him individually beforehand as well. You know,
yeah. Because
but
he's done a lot of he has his own legacy. He's done a lot of things. So he's not a boring person. He's a pretty cool book to read. So if you guys ever did hook up, I say go for it. Just do it. But going back into it, it's just a lot of people now, like even the guys around me that are training, like they want me to push harder. Like they
yeah.
saw that fight and they want me to they
Dude, the
want me to
defense,
keep
I
going
mean,
with this.
I think you're ready for, the next step that it's like, you're only going to get injured, right? And obviously you
Right.
want more experience, but let's get into a paid gig. You know what I'm saying? Like that I know
Nah.
Street Beefs would sponsor you after 8 events, I believe. Um
Right.
I mean, not saying you've got the money, but you may have the money, that I'd back you too. You know what I'm saying? Like that if you were to go professional, I could put together an investment team or something.
No,
Like
and then that's what I feel like. Whether my destiny or my fate takes me with this music thing or with this fighting thing. Like
true.
I'm gonna try to do something to keep a solid team. Like build my roster as best as I can, and just because I do want the solid foundation. Because like one thing remained from that last interview that we had is
Yeah.
that I don't just want to be like this one dimensional like entity. Like I want to be able to like touch on
Yeah,
different
do both.
avenues
Yeah.
of and develop myself
Yeah.
and be able to like keep this foundation.
Well, the only thing is the problem with fighting as like a moonlighting type of career is that when you're older, you're going to be brain dead,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
almost definitely.
Right?
And that's
So
why
it's
that's
like,
where that's where I'm in
doing
limbo
music,
about
you
it.
won't be brain dead, but continuing to fighting, there's more of a likely chance. So it's kind of different than, because, like, for example, Vinny from Monster, right?
Right.
That um, oh, I've asked him, like, do you want to be a DJ or do you want to be a behind the scenes kind of guy? Right? And he talks about how he wants to do both. That,
Hmm.
that is a multi-purpose type of thing. But with fighting, it's like the risk is different, right? So what
Most
I've always
definitely.
heard from Dana White and what I've always heard from anyone else is that, or from Mike Tyson as well, that if you are going to fight, be the best in the entire world, because the damage that it's going to do to you is permanent, and that if you are going to fight, be the best in the world. And I think, dude, I genuinely think that if you were to put 150% behind fighting, and sure, you enjoy music, music's a
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of it,
yeah.
but fighting is going to have to be the you're gonna have to be the best fighter in the world, right?
And then that's where I'm in limbo with this thing, because it's like, just when I have options, I
Yeah,
know for a fact, and any options I choose, like, I'm gonna excel in it because I'm gonna put my all into it. So I think it's only a matter of, do I want to sign that contract and really be and plant that flag and say I'm a fighter and be a fighter for life. I think that's where I want to, sort of pace myself in this thing, but at the same time, I'm 27. I'll be 28 in
yeah.
December, or this
You only
month
you only
going into
live
the
once.
18th.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
also something to throw out there, that although I'm being harsh, that I'm doing this because I care, right? That
right,
if someone's interviewing a fighter, they're not going to tell them this type of shit, right? And I'm
right.
also doing this for the people that are listening. That I'm a real guy, that I'm going to be honest, with my feelings, and that I want Sunwoo to be healthy, as a friend, listening to Joe Rogan, talk to Brendan Schaub, and but guess what? Brendan Schaub sucked. Sun Wu is actually pretty good. So it's a different situation here, where from a friend standpoint, I
Yeah.
obviously don't want him to get hurt, but obviously from a business standpoint, I love the idea of fighters because there's a lot of money in fighting.
Yeah, and then that's what I want to be able to, if I did go into the field of fighting and sign that tough contract, or sign that Bellator or UFC contract, I want to be able to have my fun with it, get as far as I can, still be able to touch on my music whenever my, time is, accessible to me,
Yeah.
and be able to stop fighting and keep building on other things. Like, no
Yeah,
matter
so talk
like no matter
about that.
what.
Like, how did this project come to fruition? I know you said you've had several products that are in the making. Like, talk more about that. That
So with not only just the fighting and the music, I've also wanted to, reach out to people like Anthony and get more into like the production side of everything. Like, not only with the industry of music, but just with film, sound, directing,
yeah, wow.
concept art, um, even going into mixing sound for, different, you know just different
Oh,
avenues
you're a
of,
producer.
yeah, just an overall producer, just a entity in the world of production, to where like my reach has no limit, like, from promoting commercials, advertisements,
Yeah.
actual movies, even acting, or even, voice acting, stuff like that. I want to make like my universe as vast as possible.
Well, it's called your fantasy factory. What Sunwoo wants to do
Yeah.
is purchase a trailer and then come out and do a co-working, co-living space, and use the studio and build his dreams like everybody else is welcome to do. And if you're someone that is interested in building their fantasy, you can do that here at the Fantasy Factory. And you can check
Sweet.
out all of the links down in the description. We aren't going anywhere. I just want to give a quick shout out. Where can people find you?
You guys go ahead and find me on both Facebook and Instagram. On Facebook, I don't utilize it too much. I
Yeah.
That's basically my billboard. Whatever's going on, singles coming out or anything, everything is stamped onto there. But I say most definitely reach me on my Instagram, which is sunwoo_lucid pool, and then also my band Instagram, which is lucid_pool. So either of those two, see what's going on. I'll say, if anything, mostly follow my band's page, because following me isn't, is going to do much unless you just want to see me post about animals or whatever's on my mind.
Great. Were there anything from the previous podcast or, you talking about engineering, if you have any questions about engineering, is there anything that you felt like you didn't get to say on the last podcast that you would like to say now?
So like I was telling myself before, like I'm real with myself, and from the last fight, beating Wade did do something to my confidence, and it has made me want to step up and push my training a little harder.
Yeah, so who's
So
the next call out is my question.
so here's the thing.
Yeah, who's next?
Let me get this out of the way. Mr. Nice Guy, who is a part of Wade's team, called me out. So
All right.
I will be fighting him on not an official date, but I'll be fighting him probably on the 6th or 7th event because I want to take some time because I'm still in the real world. I got to build up my PTO. I got to, save up money and things like that. I'm not sponsored for this. I'm not getting paid for this. So I got to take some time. I want to train really hard because this guy is his biggest thing is conditioning. He's a bigger dude. I think he's around my age. He's a little bit bigger than Wade, I think, or they're around the same size. They're from the same camp. Fun fact, and this is just one of those weird things, the way the universe lines things up for me. So the first guy I fought was actually training under Wade. I beat Wade, and now I'm about to fight Mr. Nice Guy, who was part of Wade's camp. So
wow.
I'm about to go through the whole team, dude.
Dude, what's your problem with Wade, man? Man, maybe he won't want to be on the podcast. I wouldn't even be on. If I was him, I probably, but luckily I'm a nice guy, but and he sees that, but
no, he's a good sport though. He's a humble guy, so yeah, I'll still try. But with that being said, like I mentioned to Anthony before, like I'm not getting paid for this, so if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make it worth my while. So there are some East Coast fighters that are really, really good, and I want to fight them. And their names are Country Hoodlum and Iraqi Assassin. If you guys see this, this is my official call out to you guys. So Scarface, face, bro. I'm here, baby. Make it happen. I want to fight all your title holders out there, bro. Like,
yeah, so if it's gonna be on that coast, maybe I can make an appearance. But I know, there's not a lot of filming at the events, but I'll be there in spirit. And if you were to get like a jersey or a T-shirt, I would definitely throw a couple bucks in the hat, to put my logo on your shirt or something, So.
Oh no, dude! If it'll probably be dope
like you were
to put
talking
them on
about
my
merch,
fighting
like how
shorts.
the band is gonna do merch. You should do one shirt or a couple for your fighting too. Send me one.
No, most definitely.
Like make some sort of like how Eddie Bravo has 10th Planet. Like you need to make a fake jiu-jitsu gym or team or whatever, right?
Yeah,
because jiu-jitsu team, like how it's Wade's team. What's your team's name?
Oh, with Red Reaper, Mook, Venom, Drama, and William, because we got
what's the name of it?
Iron Empire.
Iron Empire. So put that on a shirt.
Yeah,
and that's your ticket.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll most definitely. Like, I'll take that to the East Coast.
I'll put my TP logo and run it.
I'll even because we have a place out here in the city called Ontario that makes banners and stuff. So I can even get a banner made. Something to put on the background. Have somebody hold it for me for a second, introduce myself.
Oh, great! Yeah, no, that's a great idea for Scarface to start offering that to have like a specific place for fighters to throw up a banner. That's interesting.
Yeah, that'd be cool to have like a banner like thrown up on your corner. But I don't know
if he would be okay with that because I'm sure with their sponsors it has to be co-signed. But like I said, Scarface, mi casa e su casa. Why are we having fights at the studio right now in the green screen?
Right. Yeah, you have an area where you could actually put a ring.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've got 3,600 square foot. It's 30 foot by 60 foot. is the back green screen.
Dang. So there you go, man. That'll be a dope pay-per-view, man.
Oh yeah.
I'll
I
be
mean,
with
look at
that.
Jake Paul. I mean, I don't want to say I can compete with that production, but it would be similar
Yeah.
to what Jake Paul had.
So did he? So for that fight, did he have a hand in
No, it
that
was a lot of
production?
green screen, is what I'm saying. And
Oh,
but
okay,
there's
okay,
probably
okay.
LCD panels that are like $400,000, $200,000. I just have paint, and I'm able to do it through Ecamm, so it's not the greatest thing in the world. But like I said, similarly to Joe Rogan, Scarface, I am not gonna. I don't want to say I'm not gonna. I don't know. What type of business I want to put out there, but I'm doing this from a family level, and for the first, 2 or 3 events, I'm down to bring it off, strength, brother, and that, I'm your Joe Rogan where I'm down for the long term vision. So, mi casa e su casa, let me know. Obviously, we've got to get all the paperwork in order, make sure Ohio's cool and everything, but I own the dirt, similarly to you. So, let me know.
Hit him up, face. But yeah, we gotta like. I want to like
You
I
got those
said the
call
way.
outs. So
Yeah.
give the call outs one more time.
So I got called out by Mr. Nice Guy. So we'll be fighting in a more like future event, like in a more near future event. So like I said, either Street Beast West Coast 6 or 7, one of those. But my personal call outs is for Iraqi Assassin and Country Hoodlum. Like let me put it out there. Like it's no disrespect. Like this is just me just putting myself in front of Titans. Like you guys are the best, and I want to just like be able to more or less like beat you guys, but just to be like just be able to stand up because that'll show me like I could keep doing this, and like
Yeah.
you've mentioned, keep doing this on a bigger scale. Because like I said, like I I don't know, like between like everything that I'm doing and the amount of work and heart I'm putting into this, the door could swing either way. Like
Yeah.
I just know for a fact something's gonna give. Like I'm not gonna keep doing this 9 to 5 thing. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with the pay per view, that if we were to get enough names where it would be kind of like a sidebar event or a, Stonelick Productions or sorry, Street Beefs and Stonelick Productions presents where what it would do is allow us to have a lot more flexibility with the virtual pay-per-view that ViewStub, which is a Shark Tank brand that does virtual pay-per-view. And that's really what we're bringing to the table with this studio is to be able to offer that pay per view. So fighters like you that want to have more of those exciting bouts. Maybe not just
Yeah.
you. But this is has any West Coasters come to the East Coast yet?
Yeah. Red Reaper before they had let him go. He was the only fighter. Well, one of the very few fighters that will go out there and actually earned the title from going
Wow.
out there and fighting multiple times. So yeah, he's from my city right here in San
That
Bernardino.
sounds like a
You guys,
documentary right there or a movie.
yeah. Also, follow my brother Red Reaper. He's not done. He might not have his presence known anymore in the world of Street Beasts, but he's going to keep working
Well, and
and he's
Street
going to
Beefs
keep.
just had that trailer that looked like to the beginning of a movie, right? So it's like
Yeah.
I almost feel like there needs to be another one of those about you going from Scarface. Here's another idea. Chronicle Sun Wu's journey and ascension. Coming from 2-0 now, very confidently with counters. That he would be somebody that you should feature. Seeing that progression, from the West Coast and somebody that's willing to invest their time, their mental facilities to put into the brand. So, hey, just an idea.
Is there.
Because it's all
Yeah,
about
you just.
promo, that you're
Yeah.
only going to be as big as how much promo you do. And if I was
Right.
you, I'd be shooting your training every day, right?
Yeah.
In that it's only going to promote your and don't even look at the comments, right? That
Right.
it's just about promo, promo, promo. And the bigger a star you are, the better that it's going to be from the business sense. So then when UFC looks at you or when Bellator looks at you, they're like, oh, well, hell, he's already producing his own content. He's got that mentality, and we see that, right?
Right.
And that's what
And
I
then
can
that's what
recommend for all the fighters.
and then that's where that also goes into developing my production area.
Yeah.
So obtaining a tripod, I have the camera for it, just finding the space, or even just having it available for when I'm training my entire team. Because I even told myself that even if this fighting thing doesn't take
Oh,
off for
you could
me,
be like a
or
manager or a trainer.
yeah, so that's
Dude, I'd
that's what
like
I
that.
wanted
I think that's what I told you last time, that I
to
think that would be better, because then you wouldn't be,
brain
killing
dead.
yourself.
Right. And then like I had just my dedication to my team as, as a brother in that organization. I want to, at least, still have a hand in the development of the team. So
Yeah.
like when these guys are going to Bellator
Well, the merch, all
or
that stuff, because the
yeah,
same sponsors that sponsor you would sponsor your teammate, which I'm down
exactly.
for. And they would just wear the same shirt, promote the same shirt. You know, uh, that's simple.
And then I'll also be helping my teammates, be a punching bag with arms, getting them ready for their big fights, whether they go to UFC, Bellator, or, King of the Cage or anything of that nature. So, I'll still be a entity amongst my teammates and
Yeah.
helping them develop. And then fighting and music goes hand in hand because everybody needs some good walkout music, right?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So Scarface, a part of the deal is we would have to use Lucid Pool as the soundtrack because we would own the copyright.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like I said, like the future. I mean, the present is still young. I'm willing to go any direction where the wind takes me, as long as it's it's positive, it's in the realm of my ambition. It's where I feel like this is an area I could be myself and maintain a decent lifestyle and still have access to different things. The whole thing that I'm doing now with my teams or anything isn't
Yeah.
just to be the next famous dude or the next best anything. It's just that I fiend for access more than I fiend for money. Just to be able to experience
A
things, just to be
legacy.
able to
A legacy.
yeah, there you go, exactly. And then just to have, and then what's cool about having a legacy, like my name goes down as something.
Well, dude,
It's
like, you're gonna be known as the defense. You're gonna be known as the Floyd Mayweather of UFC. I'm calling
and
it right now.
that's what I want. And that's what I'm hoping with these guys. They do
'Cause
come
that's the only
forth
way you're
and
gonna
accept
stay
my
alive.
challenge. Almost definitely. And then like you have to defend yourself at all costs. It's like one of those things where if you don't have a good defense, you don't really have a decent offense, because if you're just constantly getting punched in the face, just taking blows, eventually, it doesn't take much to knock anybody out. So, excuse me. With that being said, just keep your arms up. That's that. When my coaches, slap me in the back of the neck while we're training, that's his biggest thing. Keep your arms up. If just like I know we wanted to digress, but going back into the video, if you watch, there's a part where after Wade gets back up from the first knockdown, he has me up against the fence. Dude, I was knocked out. I
Oh
was
yeah,
I was
you mentioned that.
yeah, he knocked me out standing up. So I'm gonna go describe that moment. I wanted to go into full detail with it during the react video, but let me just explain what I was
Sure.
feeling. So when he had me against the fence, one of his arms got free and hit me with a really bad uppercut, and then followed up with a heavy elbow. So the way that feels, it was a familiar feeling because I remember feeling it from a sparring session I had with my brother Troy, Red Reaper.
Yeah.
He had hit me in the cheek, and for whatever reason, I just felt like my head vibrate. Like when you're getting knocked out, that's what you feel. Like you just feel like all the nerves in your face are just like reacting to something, and they just start like convulsing and start vibrating. But you don't really like physically feel it on your skin. You kind of like feel it underneath, and you just like
Wow, that's
you
exciting
just
to
like
hear.
yeah, and then like your eyes just start like you can't control it. Your eyes just start like closing, like it's a wrap. And the only thing that kind of like keeps you up is you telling yourself like don't go to sleep, don't go to sleep. So when Wade had me up against that fence and he knocked me out, I just told myself like I felt it. And I'm just like whatever you do, just don't stop swinging. And the trippiest part about that was when he dimmed my lights. I had this like line go across my eye, and on top of the line, it was dark, and on the bottom, it was light, but it was blurry.
Oh
And then
wow.
at that moment, I realized, oh snap, my eyes are closing, because
Oh no.
I was like this close, this like if I didn't make the move that I did after he did that, I probably would have been on the floor. That's why going into the comments of the video, a lot of people were like, oh, like if he was younger or if someone didn't. Let me explain something to you guys. Wade is a fighter. Anybody who says anything about his age, he could probably run circles around and run 10 more and still be fine and probably ask you for more circles to run around. Like this guy, he is an athlete. Like I felt those punches. Like he's like he's no pushover.
Yeah.
There's no excuse to be made for that man. Like until you felt his fist, like his age is not a factor. He's I wouldn't say a renowned kickboxer, but his kickboxing is known for being really really good. And like
And
I
he knocked.
said,
Well, he half knocked you out.
yeah. And I kind of want to explain what kept me up when we watched the video
Yeah.
because it was the way I was postured up against the fence because I could have easily just fell over, and that's going into like the other part of the game. Like it's about nerve. Like you got to be a
Yeah.
dog. Like do you know how many people were in my ear telling me that Wade was going to be trouble for me? Wade was,
But it's like you're
even
the
I
one
said
that
it. He's the
called out
beast.
Wade, so like that doesn't matter.
Exactly. So
Like
that's
you're the
why.
one
So
that
like
wanted him, so like you're not the one scared. You're the one that came to him.
yeah. So that's why I
I mean,
try
you're
to
coming at his
like
whole team. I mean, I don't think at any point, it's not been.
involuntarily came out
Yeah,
his
like
entire
why would
team.
anybody doubt you, right? Like nobody has any reason to doubt you yet, right?
Unless they just, unless, excuse me for a second, unless they just feel like doubting me. Other than
Well, I
that, it's
mean,
just like,
I just feel like people often talk way too much about who is great rather than spending that time into making themselves great, right?
yeah,
That
precisely.
celebrities, icons, gods, whatever you want to call it, it's all distractions away from us putting time into ourselves.
Exactly. Like that's why, like I say, like there's people I look up to, but I have no idols. Like I'm trying to be like I want to be somebody that I want to look up to, kind of, because like I see like these celebrities, and to be honest, everybody that made me want to do this really
Yeah.
have never done anything for me, but made me want to do this.
Yeah.
So I don't put
No, so you
I don't
definitely still want to look at artists, but I've even heard
yeah.
where a lot of artists won't even listen to anybody else's music except theirs because they don't want to get a different sort of influence, that they want to keep their stuff pure. Have you heard of that?
But I've heard of that, and that's kind of
All right, I'm gonna turn down the lights a little bit
okay.
because this is my second podcast today and I've got a little bit of a headache. So I'm gonna like turn the lights around a little bit just so then the lights aren't uh killing my eyes.
Go for it. Go for it.
But you can keep on talking. That there
Oh,
shouldn't be
so
dead air. I'm just at least
no,
I'm
no,
an
no, no.
honest person, And this
I
is
wanted to make sure you
you know,
can hear
we're
me too.
breaking through the fourth wall. That's a part of the Total Potential podcast, right? It's, you know, how do we come our potential. So the way that I'm going to become my total potential is by turning down the lights so I can relax a little bit. You know, this, you know, Sunwoo's a friend. This is the second podcast. I'm going to turn down the lights a little bit and just, you know, have a little bit more of a laid back type of vibe, I think. Let's do a few things here.
So
So tell
going
everybody where
into
they can find you.
oh, so you guys, so like I said before, if you use my government name, Rodney Heron, you can find me on Facebook. Like I said, there's not much going on right there. But also, if you want to just see me post about my favorite things, you can follow me on Instagram, which is sunwoo underscore lucid pool. And more or less, I will rather you guys follow my band page. So if you guys can, you know, you can follow both. But mostly, if you guys could just go check out Lucid Pool or Lucid underscore pool on Instagram, you know, it'll be help to myself, my bandmates, you know, just help us exist. And also, if I haven't announced it good enough yet, we have a new single that's introducing our 4-track EP that's coming up on, I don't want to give a specific date, but it's going to be early 2021. So go ahead and, you know, hear our sound, our debuting sound with Truth Be Told right there on YouTube. Um, Going back into my fighting thing, like I said, I won't be fighting at the next couple of events. So my next fight will be with Mr. Nice Guy. He is a part of Wade's camp. They're coming for me, and I'm not gonna keep stopping. And I've already made my call out to who I personally wanted to fight with. So I'm looking for Country Hoodlum, Iraqi Assassin. Look those guys up through Street Beefs on YouTube. Those guys are very strong, very powerful. Uh, People avoid them, except for me, except for silly people like me. I go towards the Titans. I don't move back from them. So Anthony's back. I forgot the question you asked me. Oh, it was about the
Oh, I got to
artists.
make the lighting a little bit better. This is pretty decent.
No, that's good.
You know, that it is, you know, you're talking about media experience, right? That in
Yeah.
media, what you want, the more light, the merrier, because you're able to make the f stop, you know, a lot higher, and a higher the f stop, the cleaner the picture. But at the same time, it makes it pretty dark, so you need some serious lights.
So you know what we're gonna go back into that question, but what Anthony's talking about is the most important thing, and his setup is a good example that you know, production is everything. It's the presentation. If you look like a solid character with a solid you know, setup, and people are gonna come watch your stuff, especially when it's like good quality like this. So you know, for anybody upcoming or coming up through YouTube or Vines or any type of, you know, visual media, production is everything. But going back into answering Anthony's question, that I is one of the things I have a problem with, because it's extremely contradicting and very condescending to the degree of, you know, you can't say like, oh, you're not gonna listen to any other artist, you know,
Oh yeah,
material.
yeah. Okay, now I
Yeah.
know what we were talking about. All right, let me jump right back in. Okay, so the reason why I said that
Yeah.
is because it's it's interesting that for me, I'm not much of a music guy, right? That I
Right.
watch a lot of podcasts, like I constantly want to learn. And to me, entertainment is taking up your time. Watching football is taking up your time. It's basically attention, you know, stealing your attention away from you learning. And I think
Right.
school teaches us a very bad lesson that school is boring. You know, learning is boring. But in reality, learning really is all we should be doing. That it shouldn't be, all right, well, I'm gonna go work at CVS and sell people shit that they don't need. Like,
Right.
our whole goal as a society should be education, and not, yeah, sure, you need to know the basics of the past, but in reality, the real education that we need is with invention and with pioneering. And I
Yeah,
think that
innovation.
that is really what our society is missing, is that pioneering blood. Because to be completely honest, most of the parts of the world have either been discovered or it's at the very least been mapped out, right? So,
And then
yeah.
that's where I have a like with that statement being made, like I just feel like when something's brought up, we're just constantly reinventing the wheel almost. Like everything's like we're trying to
Yeah,
rediscover
exactly.
everything.
That's like we're wasting our time. Like, I mean, like the makeup industry with such high margins, different things like that, where it's like, and obviously GDP is important. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, yeah.
how happy are people? That what is the purpose, right? I don't think enough of us sit down and look at ourselves and go, "This is the purpose of life." That it should be known that the purpose of life is to be able to pass on greater opportunities to your children and to your children's children. That's the meaning of life, period. Now,
Yeah, and then
how do
like I
you
don't want my
afford
kid.
college for your grandchildren? That should be everyone's number one goal, that how can I afford college for my grandchildren?
And then that's where the whole legacy comes in. Like I want to be able to not only just pass down, a name in the the skies of Valhalla. I want to be able to like pass down something financially to where I create this legacy to where like I started this new lineage in my family where everybody's prospering, like basically like with royalties,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I mean, like we
savings
were
and
talking
things like
about
that.
colonizing Mars.
Right, early the from the last episode, yeah,
Well, just in general, that that that's what that's the whole deal, where it's something worth doing, right? That,
right,
and as a business, that this is if I have to create it, that if I have to build it, they will come, I guess. But I am putting it out there that our company will be on Mars within the next 100 years. That somebody has to announce that and say that, Elon Musk has said it's only $200,000, the price of the median household, right? No, I don't want to say everybody, but
right.
Elon's looking at 1 million people on Mars by the end of 2100.
And you heard it, you heard it yourself
Yeah.
right here from Anthony. He called it.
So this is something worth doing, right? That the only thing we're really doing is killing the earth. And at this point, it's getting smellier, it's getting dirtier, it's getting more virus filled. And for all these years, I always thought to myself, my biggest question that I could never answer is, why was Elon Musk doing all of this from the very beginning? And after Corona, now I know. Because when you look at previous civilizations, the one thing that sets us apart, or actually doesn't set us apart because we're not colonized on Mars yet, is that the only way that consciousness, whereas I believe aliens don't really exist, right? For me,
Right,
I believe that, aliens, different technologies, basically just military toys that they haven't told you about yet, right?
right.
And so for me, I feel like there's a lot more left to this world that we have not yet discovered, of course, but that until we do colonize Mars, consciousness, at least to our understanding, has not yet, persevered. That, you look at Pangea with Atlantis, supposedly, or, prehistoric civilizations, that without moving beyond our magnetic field, of, our life. that
So let me get there's a lot of stuff that Anthony touched on that I've looked at. I'm kind of a meta science. Like I don't believe everything that comes from science. Like I kind of keep a good balance. Like if it makes sense, then I'll take it. If it doesn't, do a little bit more research. If not,
yeah,
then move on.
because
But
we definitely know nothing about anything, right? And that, I
exactly,
mean, similarly to religion to a certain extent. When we talked, I had this previous podcast where it's kind of like, the word of God. Nobody can write down the word of God. God is in everyone, and
right,
that is man's word, right? That it's
pretty
man's word
much.
to control. I don't want to say control, to a certain extent, but it's a great moral system. But at a certain point, it's also, you know, just that.
Yeah. Even with the the religion thing, I feel like certain things block us from. Excuse me, sorry, I'm over here burping like crazy. But I feel like certain things, like religion, politics, and just any type of,
It's a
un-
distraction.
yeah, it's
Similarly
a
to what
distraction.
where we came on this is entertainment, like how you were talking about artists not listening to their own music.
Yeah,
Where, at the end of the day, religion, music, uh, NFL football, right?
right.
Aliens, it's all distractions. It's all, how can we steal the attention of the public, right? And
So
that
so
something else that I'll throw out there that is interesting is that social media companies actually get financed based on how fast they can help people become famous, because what people aren't realizing is you are the product. You as a famous person or supposed famous person, that the more fame that you have, the more that you are going to spend time on the app, right?
right,
So a lot of these apps are literally designed to help you be successful, and that by you being successful, you're spending even more time on the computer, right? And that
right.
by no means, like, technology has been great for me, but being on the Total Potential podcast, and this being the second interview, it allows me to kind of stretch out a little bit. And I know a
Yeah,
lot of the fight fans are really not coming for this, but I like going deep with TP. What else can I
yeah.
say? So do you
Not,
have any questions for me? Um, I know you made your call outs, you gave out
yeah.
your shout outs. Is there anything else on your mind that you'd like to ask me or say?
Oh, just to add on to what you were saying about the innovation of mankind and the way that we're kind of just reinventing everything as we go, not really making true discoveries anymore. Um, I think where we're talking about those those barricades with religion, politics, just anything that make people feel like
Distracted.
distracted, or even just any type of unnecessary bias of that nature. um what I feel like as a man, or just a human in general, that we've accomplished the pinnacle of physical evolution. Like this is as good as we're going to get physically. Like look at the earth, there's not much more we could adapt to. But I just feel like at the end of the day, with your body, you can make it as good as you wanted to. Like, look at the difference between the dudes who sit on the couch, the dudes who do boxing, and the dudes who can run a or get through a entire triathlon. Things like that. Like those guys are taking their physical limits and pushing them to brinks to where they've they've just reached just this pinnacle. But I feel like the next step in human
Evolution.
evolution is more mental. Like this is the part where we're
Oh
supposed to
yeah,
like,
wow. That's good.
yeah. So like I feel like
With
we've reached our
Neuralink and
pinnacle.
brain and
Yeah.
chips in our brain, because Elon Musk talks about how our input is so high, but our output is limited by our digits, by our
Right.
fingers, and that we're limited by our output, and that with Neuralink, you're going to be able to communicate directly with technology, and it's really going to free up a lot of that potential where you're going to be able to do more output, you know,
And
that
do you know what's
you've
funny
only
about
been
that?
able
Do you
to
know
unlock like 10% of your brain, right?
right? And do you know what's funny? We have a natural source that does that today, like right now, and has been doing it for billions of years.
The pineal gland.
Fungi do that. Like fungus, like actually, they move through the earth like neurons, and they
Yeah,
collect
they like
information.
Joe Rogan has said that the burning bush actually gives some psychedelic effect as well.
Yeah, it could have been like somebody burned a bush of sage if sage comes from a bush. I'm not sure, but a lot of the things that we have going on in technology, as far as fiber optics, communications and stuff like that, could be studied just watching fungi or mushrooms and how like it develops and things like that. So I just feel like at this point, when it comes to becoming uh more than what we are today, is just more of like the mental evolution, learning more, having more of a open mind when it comes to certain ideas and stuff like that, not really reinventing the wheel, but looking around that wheel to somehow make yourself in some sort of way an asset of information to be able to distribute information on a level to where it's never lost, like almost like you want to like turn yourself into a codex, almost like a monk, just absorbing, taking in all this knowledge, understanding your surroundings, becoming more in tune with what's going on. And like Anthony said, everything's kind of like a distraction, because if we put in the amount of energy that we put into politics, religion, social
Yeah.
media, into our environment, do you think that we'll be living in a better situation?
Or putting more time into our kids, that school
That
is
too,
really
exactly.
glorified daycare. That because people have to go to work, because now both parents have to go to work, school is basically glorified daycare and the kids hate it. That
I
I
mean,
don't,
look at me, dude.
that school
Like
is
I
based on the industrial revolution like 100 years ago.
so let me before we get out of here, let me
Yeah.
give you my perspective on that, because I feel like even though like I'm 27 now, high school wasn't too far behind, so I kind of still have it like fresh in my mind on some of the impressions that school gave me when I was coming up. School was like, it was like an assembly line. Like it didn't
Yeah,
really,
like industrial revolution.
yeah, it just pieced you together to be able to function amongst like can you do a chore, can you fill out a timesheet, things like it prepares you for things that doesn't really help you become an adult and innovate your life
Yeah.
like you should be able to. So, and in school, it's funny, I laugh at it now, but in school, people, or not people, but the teachers used to try to convince my parents that I had like a mental disorder,
Oh, so then they
because I
were trying
was,
to get you a bunch of Ritalin and Adderall and
yeah, and all it was that it was boring. That's all it
yeah,
was. I wasn't interested. Like I
yeah,
didn't care about this. I felt like how much longer could division get? Like I feel like I've done it all. And a lot of my friends or just people around me who got out of high school either just jumped into college, went to the military, or just worked at a warehouse and just made the best of it. And that goes to show you like our public school education or our available education isn't really innovating on how we learn, on how we live among society, and it's totally, I wouldn't say like it's 100% the educator or education's fault at all, because everything starts from home. Like Anthony just said, like it's glorified daycare. Look how many
yeah.
people were freaking out when they found out like, oh, I gotta teach my kids at home. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. Now it's your turn.
or
Now
get to
you get to
know
see what.
them. I mean, I know
Yeah,
nothing. I don't even know who my parents are. Right? They're
yeah,
together. They're nice. They've never beat me, but I don't know who they are. Right? That's
right,
not cool. Like, you should get to know your kids. That, to be honest, school is kind of like kidnapping, where it's like no kid wants to go to school, right?
right,
Like, it's not fun, that I'm sure like there's things of value. And I come from the country, so my school was not anything to write home about. Then my grandma
yeah,
actually specifically didn't want to move here because the schools weren't good. So I do come from partly a private school, first through fourth, but I did go to public school for a kindergarten, and then I ultimately went back in the fifth grade after 2008 hit. We just couldn't afford $8,000 a year, and my dad was in the choir, so it was half price. But even at that point, with 2008, and a lot of our money was in retail stocks. So when you look at it, what went down the drain, you know.
right.
So, but hey, it is what it is. You
Yeah,
live and you
then that's
learn. A
why
thousand ways how not to do something. But
you got
I
to
want
come
to
out with that
thank
book,
Sun
Anthony.
Wu for coming on. Uh, we just crossed the 1 hour mark, so this outro will not be on Instagram. But if you are a big fan of Instagram, definitely go down in our description and check out myself, Anthony Marshall, as well as Sun Wu, which I will list down in the description. Once again, where can people find you?
Sunwoo underscore Lucid Pool, or like I preferred earlier, you can also hit up Lucid underscore Pool, and that's my band's page. Like I said, we have a single out now called Truth Be Told, something nice and heavy. Listen to it. Tell me what you think about my vocals. Tell me what you think about my guitars, the drummer, and everything. Give us your input. Help us grow. Help us build. We're trying to be the next best thing. So it's up to the people.
Yeah, and we'll also, while we do the reaction video to your fight, we'll also do a reaction video to the music.
Oh, I want to hear what Anthony thinks about metal. That's going to
Yeah.
be a good one because
Well,
he's a
like I
hip hop
said, I'm
head.
more of a jazz, chill jazz kind of guy. But
Yeah.
I can appreciate production. That's the main thing that I'm going to be looking for. How good is it mastered, right?
Oh, be nice about it. Don't turn me down.
But for me, that's what I look forward to.
uh,
That I want to see, how the production is, how everything was mic'd up, how everything sounds. That yeah, you're not gonna catch me. I mean, maybe if I'm working out, that I would go. Now that we are, going past an hour, we can kind of chat for a little bit more.
okay.
I was a suck up, right, brown noser, so I'd get my homework done. I'd do the extra credit, and I would ask my
Yeah.
math teacher, "Hey, can I go work out?" Because in high school, I didn't take any electives. I didn't take photography. I didn't take drawing. Right, I took some, graphic design classes, but uh, I went to gym class, weightlifting, a ton of different things. And I had that power with my math teacher that, hey, I did my homework, I did my extra credit, could I go to the gym? So, and this was the summer, so everybody would have their windows up, in the classrooms while everybody else is doing their homework, right? And then I would go into the weight room, open up the windows, and then just blare heavy metal right across to then mess with everybody on
Oh
the
god.
so isn't that fun that sure, workout music, like I'm gonna listen to Lucid Pool when I'm working out.
And then the way I look at it, especially with the type of metal that I'm getting into, like I know that feeling of throwing in your from when you had an iPod shuffle when you walked onto campus
Yeah,
and
Stronger by Kanye, or
yeah,
which obviously isn't heavy metal, but Linkin Park.
yeah,
That's the direction that you guys should head.
yeah.
That would
So
you
like
compare
that's what
yourself to Linkin Park?
not necessarily. We do have break beats and a lot of hip hop
Or
influence
what
in
about
our music.
who's um no, I mean I really don't know any heavy metal bands.
So like I'll just to kind of like
Yeah, and we'll talk
especially
about it
if
in the
you want to.
reaction too, but
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody, stay tuned for the reaction. We're gonna go way far more in depth about his fighting, way more far in depth about his music. But guess what, guys? I am a content creator, and I want to split it up into individual bite-sized pieces.
You gotta eat, bro.
Exactly.
Straight up.
All right, sir. Well, I hope you have a good night, and
Oh,
let
you too,
me.
man.
All right. So